Hi, welcome back to Bob's Wood Shop. Well, the project we're working on is a coffee table. It's not a complete oval, as you can see. So what we did was we glued up two boards and put them through the drum sander, made a template, and measured in on each corner, and then just drew each corner on the boards, and then took it over to the bandsaw, and it took two of us. We kind of whittled it away and left about 1/16 of an inch from the line on all four corners, and then clamped our template and used a flush trim bit to get it nice and even all the way around, have the same radius. Then, after sanding it all down pretty nice, of course the corners were still square, but I wanted to do a quarter round, as you can see, and that came out pretty well. The problem we ran into was this router base that goes to the bottom of the base that the router motor fits in. The hole was too small for the roundover bit. Roundover bit is 2 inches totally in diameter, and so I had to make a new plastic plexiglass or Lexan, whatever it is, base, and I wanted to go over that and tell you how I did that. It's pretty straightforward, but there's a few things you got to really kind of pay attention to. If you'll notice, it's offset from the front of the router where you would hold it by about 90 degrees, and I did that on purpose, just for the simple reason that a lot of times if it's 90 degrees to it, this corner will get in the way. This way it kind of works its way into wherever I want to go, and I don't have to turn the piece as often. But what I did is I went to the home store, and the only thing I could get was in the 22 hundredths of an inch was a piece of Lexan. It was 36 by 30, and it's pretty pricey. It was about $50 for the whole sheet, and I only needed 11.5 by 11.5. But I've got it sitting over there, and I'm sure I'll need another one at some point. And what I'm thinking about doing on this one is to cut a couple of wedge-shaped pieces and glue them on the four corners so that they lend a little more strength, keep it from flexing so much. And maybe I'll work a little cover for that, and I can hook up dust extraction to it somehow. But it's really not that big of a problem. The one thing that I had to be careful of was, of course, I cut my piece of 11.5 by 11.5, and then went corner to corner, and at the intersecting two lines, I drilled a 2 1/8 inch hole that would accommodate this 2-inch wide roundover bit. And then I took the old template plate and laid that on there, centered it, and marked my holes. And took it over to the drill press and clamped this down and just drilled out. Well, I didn't completely drill them, I just got the holes started to mark the places where the holes were going to go for the screws to mount it. And after I drilled the first hole, I took a screw, put it into here, and basically used that to lock this down as its own template. And then I was able to come through and drill out my holes. And then one thing you want to do is you got to countersink to account for the screws that hold it on. But you got to be careful with that you don't go too deep. So you probably want to just kind of test fit the other one, just hit it a little bit at a time until that screw is flush, and then set your depth stop on your drill press. And still be careful. And clamp this thing down. It'll have a tendency to pick up. So you'll want to make sure that stays in you know, nice and tight to the base that you're drilling to. And then take it off and mount it. And then I used it to follow around, all the way around this radius, and it came out pretty much perfect. No complaints whatsoever. It worked real well. I didn't get as much flex as I thought I was going to get off of this. Probably would help to wax it a little bit so it slides around a little easier. But it's definitely a lot better than trying to walk the router around with one of these, because I have a tendency to kind of tip a little bit when you're doing such a long radius all the way around the table like this. So that's how I did it, and it came out pretty well. I squared up. I got some 8/4. This is ash. I got some 8/4 stock and milled it. I forget what the dimension is on the leg. It's just a hair under 1 3/4. So, and then we'll do a round over on 2 sides, maybe all 4 sides. My daughter hasn't come up with the final look, although I think we got an idea of what it's going to be. And then there's also a base, not a base, but a bottom shelf. And we're going to leave the bottom shelf square, except what it looks like is these legs will sit kind of like that on the table, and then we'll cut off that point that protrudes out from the corner. And the way I'm going to mount the legs is we're going to drill a hole, I think, through the bottom shelf, and divide these legs up into just 2 parts, and drill a center on both parts, and use some kind of an insert that we can put a double end threaded stud in there. Well, I was trying to think of a way to describe how I was going to attach these legs, and the only thing I could do was come up with kind of a picture of what I'm talking about. So this here is what we're going to do. This here would be the bottom leg, and that's a threaded insert. This is the bottom shelf, which will have a hole all the way through. And this here is the top of the leg with just a hole drilled into it. This is a wood screw thread, and this is a machine screw thread. And this usually has some way that you can just use a pair of pliers, of vice grips, and turn that in and thread it right into the leg, so that only this part is sticking out. And then what you can do is you can stick, once this is inside the leg, you can push this through the hole, and then this threaded insert will thread the bottom foot of the leg onto the uptight, and then you'll have your leg attached. So that's how I'm going to do that, and I couldn't think of a way to explain it without the picture. and I'm not even sure what those things are called. So that's how the legs are going to get attached, and at the top we'll just drill a hole on center in the top of the leg, and we'll drill a hole in the bottom of the top and epoxy that in. We'll also epoxy the wood screw portion of the of that threaded insert thing that goes into the bottom of the leg. Okay, so that's how I'm going to do the legs and attach them, and we'll get some pictures of this thing when it's done, and we'll put them up on the website. Okay, so y'all have a good day, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye bye.